Hey everybody, it's me, Zach, and welcome back to my channel. Hi, hello everybody. How y'all doing? I'm back again because of course, well, I filmed my last video on Sunday, but I just didn't, it took a long time to edit because I had to go in and add in every individual screenshot because I thought my phone was screen recording and it wasn't. So, by the time, obviously, that I posted on Monday, Amberlynn had already gone and answered several more Q&A questions on her Instagram. Actually, she has been. I mean, even up until this morning. I'm filming this Tuesday. It's currently 10:35 a.m. in Chicago. And she's still been answering questions. And then on top of that, I think like an hour or two before I posted my video yesterday, Karina Kaboom came out with a video about her speculation, theories, etc. that Amberlynn might have received a community guideline strike on her channel, and that's why potentially Amberlynn wasn't posting. So I want to talk a little bit about that, and then we'll also talk about her continued Instagram Q&A nonsense as well in this video. So it might be another long video, so get cozy. So many of you commented yesterday and said like, oh my god, Zach, you really are like the person that I listen to when I'm trying to go to bed. You're the person that I turn on when I'm trying to do laundry, cook dinner, do dishes. So for that, I thank you. That means so much to me. I've really been reminded a lot lately, even in just like this small corner of the internet, that like I am important to so many of you, and that just truly like touches me. I'm very grateful for that. In case I haven't said it recently, I do just want to say that it is very affirming to me to feel needed, to feel like I have a purpose. So thank you. I appreciate it. So let's get into the Karina Kaboom, Amberlynn is community strike banned, whatever situation type of deal. So part of my video title yesterday alluded to Amberlynn's YouTube absence, and of course I had no idea that Karina was going to come out with that video, but Amberlynn had been like answering Instagram Q&As about why she wasn't gone, and people saying she was only posting because she needed money and this, that, the other. And I just want to say, like, I'm not surprised that she has been gone. She, throughout the history of her channel, for all the years that I've been covering her, has been known to take like weeks at a time off from posting. I would say maybe in this past year, in the year of 2024, it feels like she's maybe done it a little more often. I think a lot of people who are maybe newer to Amberlynn have been actually maybe spoiled by Amberlynn. I don't know if that's the word. I don't know if you could really call it spoiling. But she, in recent history, has been actually way more consistent. Well, recent history not being like maybe this past year. But, you know, it's only been in the past few years that she has gotten to a place where she was posting with any kind of regularity in terms of having a schedule or anything like that. Like, when I first started watching her, the gag is that she would say she was going to have a posting schedule, never stick to it, go several days, even weeks at a time without posting, and people would be like, what happened to Amberlynn? So none of this is necessarily new to me. I'm not surprised that she's not posting, but, you know, like I said in my video yesterday, I think a lot of it could be, a lot of the like speculation surrounding her not posting could be resolved if from like the get-go she just said, hey, like maybe it's the case that she is on this vacation visiting Tommy and she really wants to just like spend her time with Tommy and not filming, and she could just say that, you know, or like if she would have just said from the beginning like, hey, I need a break from social media, I think it could potentially save her from a lot of the speculation that ends up happening. That's something I try to keep in mind. Like, I'm not saying that people can't take breaks, because I've taken breaks, right? But like, I try to keep in mind that like people follow me. If I don't post for a while, people get concerned. I should probably just like give them a heads up that like there's nothing to be concerned about. But either way, of course, her absence has led to people like looking for further information, and Karina Kaboom is certainly one of those people. And when I posted my video yesterday, a lot of people commented and said like, Zach, it's because she got a community guideline strike. Like, she's banned. Karina posted a video all about it. She's banned. She's banned. And I was like, there's enough people that are commenting this. Maybe I just go look and see what Karina had to say about this. And I'm glad I do, because Amberlynn has now addressed it, so now I have some kind of concept of what's going on. And this continues to be some of my hesitation surrounding the speculation that can happen in this community. Not that it can't be fun to speculate, and certainly I don't think like any of Karina's speculation is harmful necessarily. Like, I don't think it's hurting anybody. It's not like the people or like the comments that I was seeing about people speculating about Mama Lynn's sobriety, right? Like different concepts. But I think like one of the problems with Karina, not Karina necessarily specifically, I think Karina very much presented like, here is my idea, my theory about what could be going on here based on the limited evidence and data that I have, right? Like, I don't think Karina did anything wrong, but I think some people like ran with Karina's video and was like, this is facts. like this is facts. This is what happened. This is it. This is the thing. And like, even when I watched it, there were some things about Karina's theory that jumped out to me to being like, you've definitely found something here, but like, I don't think you're quite onto it. I think the biggest thing is that Karina had the idea to even go looking for missing videos because she was looking at Amberlynn Reid's Social Blade. And if you don't know what Social Blade is, it's a website where you can kind of loosely track data about people's YouTube channels. It used to be way more useful and used when it had a more accurate reading of people's subscriber counts. Like, a lot of people used to use it to track when like people were losing large amounts of followers and things like that. And then YouTube switched how it shared like subscriber count data publicly. And because of that, Social Blade's like reliability there has been not as reliable, because it only shows what YouTube shows, and YouTube only shows like the 3 most significant like digits of a person's subscriber count. So like mine, for instance, I think says I have 156,000 subscribers. And since you can't see maybe the fluctuations between that, like, you'll only see if I gain or lose subscribers if I gain them 1,000 subscribers at a time or less than 1,000 at a time. So like, I'm slowly inching my way up towards 157,000, and once I do that, like, it'll say on Social Blade that I gained 1,000 subscribers, but that didn't happen like overnight. One of the places that is still reliable is in the video view counts, like, that you get per day. And a lot of people can still use this to identify like when somebody deletes or privates a video on their channel, because if you suddenly lose a whole bunch of views, that shows up as a negative in the views column on Social Blade. And so basically, Karina Kaboom went and saw that on October 13th, just a couple days ago, Amberlynn lost 329,602 views, meaning most likely what happened is that a video or multiple videos got taken down from her channel. And so then Karina went and looked for this because she's like, oh, I think that you got a community guideline strike and that's why you haven't posted for 2 weeks. That's where the red flags came for me in this like theory that Karina had, which is that if this video was taken down on the 13th, then what that would mean is that that's probably also when she got the community guideline strike. So it wouldn't be an explanation for why she hasn't posted for 2 weeks. But if Amberlynn goes on to not post for 2 more weeks after this, then I could see maybe that being what happened here. Does that make sense? I hope my logic makes sense. But there were just so many people that were like, this is the truth, this is the way. And I'm not saying everybody was like that, but I did get a lot of comments on my video suggesting that, like, this was the only possible reason or conclusion for what was happening here. I think that that's why I, you know, when I think about speculation, like some of it can be fun, and also like you have to keep in mind that it's just speculation. Like it's in many ways, in most situations, like we don't have all of the information, and so you can't like say for sure that that's why something happened. So no shade to Karina. I understood where she was coming from, and at the very least she certainly uncovered that this like infamous chicken rotisserie mukbang was taken down from the internet, right? Like, so at the very least she did uncover things that are useful, and has since led to Amberlynn addressing why that video, we're going to talk about that in a second, but why that video is no longer on her channel. So I do think, like, you know, information was discovered, information was helpful. I think I would just ask that, like, I don't know who I'm asking this, but I just, maybe as a word of caution to always, you know, use some critical thinking, maybe, you know, be critical of even like your most favorite creators and their theories and things like that, because we can also be wrong, and sometimes, you know, I think we're all just like out here doing our best with like the limited information that Amberlynn gives out to us, and because she does that, I totally understand why people speculate. So here are some of Amberlynn's responses. She's actually posted 4 times on her community tab page about this on YouTube. Which is a lot of energy to give to this, honestly, especially for it not being necessarily true or the case. Her first post, she said, no strike, just not posting right now. Her second post said, if I was banned, I wouldn't be able to be making this post, which is true. And then her third post was, anyways. And then her final post, she said, I didn't get a strike. Again, wouldn't be able to post this if I did. And yes, this video was deleted by YouTube 3 days ago, which is important, by the way, because later on, when we're going through the Q&As, she answers a question that makes it sound like she was the one that deleted it, so I don't know why she's being confusing about that. But anyways, she said, this is the second video YouTube has deleted on my channel in 11 years. Not appealing it because I understand YouTube's reasoning. It's fair. But again, not banned, no strikes, just taking a break from YouTube as I usually do. I'll see you guys soon. I do just want to note that based off this screenshot and also what Amberlynn says in the post itself, it sounds like the video was actually taken down on October 11th, so I don't know what that looks like in terms of that information getting like reported to Social Blade, or like how Social Blade gets that information. But even if it got taken down on October 11th and not October 13th, like she would still be reasonably banned from that date, not from like October 1st when she last posted. And then she also has a screenshot of what YouTube sent to her, and it says, hi Amberlynn Reed. We wanted to let you know our team reviewed your content and we think it violates our self-harm policy. We know you may not have realized this was a violation of our policies, so we're not applying a strike to your channel. However, we have removed the following content from YouTube. And then it lists the video, mukbang whole rotisserie chicken. So there you go. That's from Amberlynn herself. I do agree she clearly doesn't have a strike, because she would not be, from my understanding of how it works, she would not be able to post on her community tab. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I just don't believe that she would be able to do all that if she did. So I am inclined to believe that, yeah, YouTube removed the video, did not grant her a strike, and she is, in fact, just taking a break from posting on YouTube for whatever reason she is doing that. So let's get into these Q&As. What I will say about them is that the first part of this is going to be her doing normal Q&A situation types of deals. And then the last half of it is just her, she decided to switch it up, and she said, you know, only ask me questions that I can answer with a yes or no. So she somehow found a way to even make the laziest of social media content that she's doing even lazier by basically saying, like, I'm only going to answer questions that I can answer quickly with yes or no answers. So We'll probably try to just speed through that section of it. This will once again probably take me a long time to edit most of this stuff in, because I realize that the screen recording on my phone is just not gonna not gonna do it. So here we go. Let's get started with the Q&As. Oh, and also the other thing is that I did not necessarily screenshot all of the questions and things. I feel like she did try to start answering some more friendly questions, some more mundane questions, and those are certainly great that she decided to focus a little less on negativity, but also those questions were not as interesting for me to cover, and for the interest of time, I'm not necessarily going to address every single question like I did yesterday, but I'm still gonna address a lot of them. There's a lot of things that we can talk about. So the first one says, "Hey Amber, are you doing Vlogmas this year?" And she said, "I'm honestly not sure yet. I go back and forth," which is the same response she's given for like the last 2 Vlogmases, so we'll see. I don't think she did it last year, so I'm guessing probably not. Another person said, "Did you see the new episode of 1,000 Pound Sisters? Their progress is inspiring." And she said, "No, I haven't seen it yet. I'm so behind on literally everything that I watch, including YouTube." Yeah, it seems like she is very focused on her emotional support feeder right now. It doesn't seem like she's giving a lot of time to any of her old interests or things that she does, like her job on YouTube, which is her prerogative. Then we get into some more of the Mr. Snowflake stuff, and I think there's certainly a lot to still be discussed there as well, to be honest with you. But somebody said, "Mr. Snowflake didn't lie about you cheating. He literally backed it up with your own timelines." And again, I don't know the details of what these accusations are. Regardless of if Amberlynn did or didn't cheat on any of her partners, I think it says enough about her as a person that she readily admitted to participating in an affair with somebody that she knew was married and with somebody that she knew would be in big trouble if her wife found out that she was in a relationship with Amberlynn. So I think that on its own says enough, but anyways, Amberlynn's response is, "I'm almost tempted to watch the video so I can rebuttal because I didn't cheat on anyone, period. But of course I don't care enough what people think of me, so I'm good, LMAO." I don't care enough about what people think of me, but I will respond to as many Mr. Snowflake related questions in this Q&A as possible. And this is the next part. So you might recall in yesterday's Q&A, she answered a question about wifey, Faline, Jade, whatever you want to call her. And in that, she talked about how wifey was the only partner that didn't support her lifestyle or something like that, or like opposed her lifestyle and her health choices, maybe. I don't remember the exact wording, but there's a lot of questions about it because people are like, what the fuck? like we need to know more about this. And Amberlynn basically ends up like throwing old Faline under the bus. So somebody says, "Did you feel pressured into weight loss surgery when with Faline?" And Amberlynn says, "Not at all, because it was my idea to get weight loss surgery. She supported whatever decision I chose regarding that." Which is interesting because the way Amberlynn worded things made it sound like Faline did not support her in regards to her decisions with weight loss surgery. And there's going to be more, so just hold on to that thought and that feeling. Somebody said, "Love how people decide it's okay to comment on your body because you're a bad person." And she said this, which is interesting because I think largely, not to use that word, that's just the word I'm thinking of, but I think largely, like, most people don't, like, there are people on the internet who do comment on her body. I think most people, I don't know, maybe I'm just living in my own bubble, but like, I feel like most people don't. Like, I feel like most people comment on her being a bad person, but I digress. Another person said, "Are you nervous about loose skin after significant weight loss?" And I'm always just so fascinated when people ask her about loose skin, because like, when has Amberlynn ever gotten close enough to have to be worried about loose skin, you know? But her response was, not at all. A decade ago, this was a fear I had, but I look back and I don't even recognize myself. And I'm just like, maybe we really should recenter our focus on getting to the loose skin part first, you know? Like, maybe that should be our first priority. Another person said, did you have a 3 or 4-way with Tommy and Alexis and her partner? And Amberlynn said, ha 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 ha. No. Tommy and I don't share. Good to know. Another person said, will you rate your exes from 1 to 10? All of them. And Amberlynn said, that sounds a wee bit hectic. Then why even answer the question? Why even put it out there when you've acknowledged that you would just ignore other questions that you don't want to answer? It feels like she wants to get spicy about exes and even does a little bit when it comes to answering some questions about Faline. And this is the thing with these Instagram Q&As. Like, inevitably, all the roads always wind up at her, like, saying something disparaging about some ex. And now it seems like she wants to be disparaging towards wifey/Faline. It used to be Beck, and it seems like today, wifey's getting the brunt of it. Speaking of being disparaging towards Faline, somebody said, since you said Faline opposed your lifestyle, was that the reason you went on Ozempic? And she said, no, any decision to lose weight has always been mine. Any decision to fall off track has also been due to my doing and no one else's, which, true. It's not any of Amberlynn's partner's responsibilities. But I certainly think some of them could be more or less supportive than others. Another person said, people are saying you left your pets during a tornado. Is that true? And she said, absolutely not. I was at work when a tornado happened and I physically couldn't leave. I was 30 minutes away working at an assisted living facility with 60 plus residents. I'd be more interested in her addressing her saying she's never abandoned her pets, but then like fully leaving Rarity and Wasabi with Rafe. I'd be more interested in that because obviously with natural disasters, like things happen out of our control, especially like she's explaining right here. But things that were totally in Amberlynn's control was deciding to move into an apartment that didn't allow her to bring all of her animals and just willy-nilly giving up 2 of them to a friend. So I would like her to address that when she's out here talking about how she is such a good pet parent and would never abandon her pets. You know? You feel me? Another person said, can you please tell me why flirting is comparable to almost ruining a marriage? And I think I guess this is alluding to like the rumors that Amberlynn has been responding to about Mr. Snowflake maybe flirting with people in his Discord or something like that. And I would guess also talking about her and her complicity and cheating with Erica in regards to Erica and Brittany's marriage. But Amberlynn's response is, only if you can comprehend that some marriages are open and some aren't. Which is just like, yeah, that's what you started out thinking it was, but you certainly admitted yourself that you learned at a certain point that their marriage was not open and you continued on in the relationship. So tell me more about that, bestie. The way she just like cherry picks, big cherry picks her way through parts of her past and her history and things like that is wild and stunning to me. Another person said, why won't people shut up about your animals? OMG. I don't know, maybe it's because Amberlynn has a history of not treating her animals well and not taking responsibility for the times that she didn't treat her animals well. I certainly think that in recent history, she's been much better, at least with what we've seen on the internet, of taking care of her animals. But she seems to forget that, like, there's a whole history of, like, her refusing to get Rarity fixed, a whole history of her refusing to take Twinkie Star to an emergency vet and went to, like, Chili's or Applebee's instead. There's, again, the history of her giving up Rarity and Wasabi when she wanted to move in with Beck and couldn't take all of her animals. Like, that's why people are so concerned. That's why, because people are waiting to see, and she does say this, but people are waiting to see her do it all again, because the thing with Amberlynn is that the mask falls. She's more cognizant these days of what she puts on the internet. But I'm thinking about that, and she even showed that one time, like, the overflowing bowl of cat food just sitting on her counter, and the way that she, like, tried to make it sound like she was so responsible for cleaning out their litter boxes regularly, to the extent that she got them a new litter box every year, or every month, as if that's like a thing that people do. Or every other month, let me correct myself, because she got mad that people were saying that she claimed to get one every month and it was every other month. But anyways, Amberlynn's response is, because they're waiting and waiting and waiting till I do one small thing that might show that I'm not a perfect person, so the false outrage can happen. So the false outrage can happen. I think there are times where false outrage happens, and I think when it comes to her pets, there's been plenty of things that suggest that she isn't the best pet parent. Is she, like, purposely abusing her animals or anything like that? I don't know that I would go that far, but she's certainly made a lot of questionable choices when it's come to the care of her animals. Another person asked, what's the story behind hectic? It seems to come up a lot, but I don't know the correlation. You and me both, my brother. She said, I have this weird thing where I become obsessed with saying certain words, quotes, or making certain sounds, etc. It's normally just in my personal day-to-day life off of YouTube, but there's been some cases where it also happens online. Me saying hectic is simply one of them moments. When it happens, I literally can't stop. It's uncontrollable. Well, let's find a way. Love finds a way. Let's make it stop. How about that? Could we? How do you feel about that? Could we make that happen? Another person bringing up Mr. Snowflake. And here's the thing that I don't think fully understands that, like, or maybe she does, but some of these questions are purposely, like, goading her. Like, some of these questions are purposely there to instigate her because they want to see her talk about certain people in certain kinds of ways. But someone said, did you see Mr. Snowflake's response video to your Ask Me questions? He went in. And so this person really doesn't sound like somebody that cares about Amberlynn, to be honest. And she said, no, LMAO, I simply don't care enough. Poor guy freaks out whenever I mention him, but he can have multiple YouTube channels focused around me. Aw, did I hurt his feelers? And that's the thing is, like, I don't imagine Mr. Snowflake to be freaking out that Amberlynn responded to him or talked about him. I think, like, the thing is that because people do cover you, Amberlynn, when you talk about them, they're going to respond. And that doesn't mean that their feelings are hurt. And again, you know what I'll say? I'm in the same boat as Amberlynn. I haven't watched any of Mr. Snowflake's videos about this. I'm just guessing. I'm just guessing that he's probably not feeling sad or hurt by any of the things you said. That would just be my hypothesis. And yeah. Here we are. Here we are with that. I think, oh wait, no, this is just one that she simply answered with a yes answer. We are not yet to the yes or no questions. But somebody said, are you and Alexa still buds? And she said yes. So just in case you're wondering, because, you know, that is something that I feel like could change on a moment's notice. One of them says the wrong thing to the other one, and I could see it ending at any given moment. She also got asked, are you okay? You seem very upset and angry at your audience. And she said, I'm not upset or angry, but you can't expect one person to be belittled by thousands of people daily and them not say something sometimes. But trust, I'm fine. I certainly do agree. Like, I've certainly also been known to let people know what's up about themselves. And it's just also, you know, it's always a choice. We all have choices, and you're making the choice to get onto Instagram Q&A and respond to multiple of them and continue to do it. So, you know, that's my thoughts about it. I feel like it's just one of those things that's like, She claims that she's like not in a good place and that's why she's not posting on YouTube, which is fine. I think like different places of social media can give you, you know, different feelings and like you can feel more positive or negative in those spaces. I kind of explained that that's why I felt like I could keep posting YouTube videos, but maybe was not in a place to live stream on Twitch, right? But it also does just seem that like Instagram is not making her happy. Doing these Q&As for hours on end is not fulfilling her or bringing her joy. So I do wonder why she keeps doing it. But again, a lot of these things are her prerogative, and this is in fact the choice she has made. Another person said, is your partner responding to these questions? Doesn't really read as though it's you. Well, maybe it's the way she used AI to answer questions about the moon landing. But she said, I'm not even with her. I'm responding to all of these myself, which is curious. I wonder if people are going to interpret that as her being back in Oklahoma. But I would imagine what that really means is that Tommy's at work or something. And so she is just sitting at home alone with nothing better to do. Like maybe she ran out of highlighters and word searches. And so she's like, let me answer questions on the Instagram. Somebody asked, did your lease in Oklahoma end? And she said, no, I signed a new lease. So she's still tied to Oklahoma in some kind of way. Doesn't mean she's living there. She does strike me as the kind of girly that would fully pay for an apartment that she was not living in. So go off, Amber. Great. Somebody said the difference between you and Snowflake was that he was the married one. He's the one who owed loyalties to, and then it's got a bride emoji. And she said, oop. Which, like, again, all of this, she wants to be out here and talk about how people are adding false outrage when it comes to things about her life, which is maybe fair if that's how she feels about people talking about her. I don't understand why her response is like, let me build some false outrage around Mr. Snowflake, because this is a woman who's out here saying she doesn't watch any of his videos, and yet she is able to come onto Instagram and make all of these claims, or like respond to all of these claims about him allegedly flirting with people in his Discord or whatever. And I'm just like, how much about this situation do you really know? Or are you potentially just adding fuel to a fire? You know, like that's my question. Like, I don't understand why you, the person who is so upset that people speculated about your relationship with you and your mom, are out here building, you know, unrest around this. And I get her response is probably like, well, if he does it to me, then it's fair that I do it to him. Like, maybe he'll understand how it feels. But I just personally am not that kind of girl. like I'm not going to sit here and criticize, or I'm going to at least not try to. I guess maybe it's possible at some point in my life I had. But if I'm going to sit out here and criticize somebody for the way that they're treating me, I'm going to try to be cognizant before I go and repeat that behavior towards them, you know? Like, I would think, at least just from, like, a place of, like, not wanting to look fucking stupid, that I would want to. Let alone, like, why would I wish something on somebody else that I'm literally asking them not to put onto me? But I digress. Another person said, hater or not, you can't deny there's some spark of life and love in there. And where? And where? Wish you the best. And she said, thank you. I'm like, is the spark of life and love in the room with us? Because if we're talking about Amberlynn and Tommy's relationship, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it at all. Somebody asked if Tommy was her age, and she said she's a year younger than me. Another Mr. Snowflake question. This person said, Mr. Snowflake seems obsessed, like in an odd way. Almost like he likes you, almost parasocial. And her response was, most reaction channels have a parasocial relationship with me. They've created their whole channel around me. It's very strange. I've always been so interested in the ways that that people assume things about reaction channels because they cover Amberlynn. Like, for instance, whenever the French-speaking people came into my comments a couple years ago, there were a number of them that were like, I think you secretly have a crush on Amberlynn. I think you secretly fetishize like fat women like Amberlynn. And I'm like, y'all are weird. Y'all are weird. Why is that where your mind jumped to? That's wild to me. So I don't know. I have no context of most of Mr. Snowflake's videos and things like that. What I will say is I do know his whole channel is not surrounded like just on her. Like he does cover other people too. He has many other videos, and I think in Amberlynn's world, she's the only people we cover, like we being reaction channels. But there really are a lot. I mean, there are some that focus just on her or just on like one creator in general, but like a lot of people cover more than just her. Just to be clear, just so we're all on the same page. Somebody said, do you feel Alexis is shady by being so insulted to be compared to you size-wise? Which, like, if I was Amberlynn, I would be. But Amberlynn said, no, I don't think it was shady. Anyone would be upset if someone assumed they were 200 pounds heavier than they actually are when they already have body issues, especially if it's hundreds of people saying it. You know what? I will be inclined to agree with her on that. Like, I could see a world where, like, Alexis is like, it's not necessarily a bad thing to be 500 pounds or whatever, but I have, like, body dysmorphia issues as it stands, so when people are telling me that I weigh that much and I know I don't, it could be really fucking with her. So I do get that. I think it's the way she delivered the TikTok where she talked about it that was shady. because that was not the vibes that it was giving at all. The vibes it was giving was like, how dare you think that I weigh as much as Amberlynn? Like, look at my body. Like, check me out. Like, how could you ever think that I weighed that much? Like, I'm hot as hell, bitch. Like, that was the energy that it was giving. Another person said, so if Faline didn't encourage weight loss or Ozempic, what part of your lifestyle did she not like? And Amberlynn said, I never said she didn't support it. Quite the contrary. Please stop twisting my words. I give an inch, but people ask for a mile. I'm done talking about Faline. Spoiler alert, she's not done talking about Faline. But anyways, I mean, here's the thing. She gets so mad that people don't understand what she's talking about. But I feel like she's been very wishy-washy, flip-floppy when it comes to how she's talked about Faline being supportive or not supportive. Not to mention, mind you, that when she started dating Faline and had just broken up with Beck, she talked about how Faline was the most supportive girlfriend she's ever had in her whole entire life, and nobody's ever supported her like Faline did. And people were like, you literally talked about Beck wiping your ass. Like, what the fuck do you mean? Like, Beck was so supportive of you. So it's funny to me now that she's like stumbling over her words and stumbling over this explanation of how Faline was or wasn't supportive of her lifestyle choices. Like, it's really rich and interesting to me as a concept. And then, like I said, she does go on to still talk about Faline because she answered a question that was, what part of your lifestyle did Faline not like if it wasn't weight loss? And she said, I'm realizing now that people didn't understand my answer. This will be the last time I address it. Faline didn't like when I wasn't losing weight. That's what I meant. And no, that's not why we broke up, LMAO. It's not why they broke up, but just coincidentally, they happened to break up when she stopped seeking weight loss surgery. So, call it what you want. Maybe correlation is not equal to causation, but it is quite the coincidence, isn't it, Amberlynn? Another person said, what's your food obsession right now? Mine is chips and salsa. I can't stop snacking. Asking her a question like that, knowing all of the things that Amberlynn struggles in life with, is crazy to me. But also, what's crazy to me is that Amberlynn is obsessed with Tootsie Rolls. Because I just Just couldn't be me, but it is what it is. Good for her, I guess. Somebody said, have you gotten more comfortable showing your whole body online? And I'm guessing this question is probably in relation to old Tommy Salami, like showing these full body shots of Amberlynn that we really haven't gotten in a very long time on Amberlynn's channel. But Amberlynn's response was, I've always been comfortable showing my whole body online for like 10 years now. And the last year I had the worst body issues. I didn't show my body as much and I rarely went on camera without makeup. 2 things I've always done prior. I noticed that even as I lost weight, my lymphedema, lipedema continued to get bigger and people online are awful when it comes to my legs, so I didn't want to add fuel to the fire. I was already feeling shitty about it, but I can't hide forever. I've never cared about my body being seen before, so I'm not going to care now. And listen, I do love that for her. I think that, like, feel free to be you in whatever capacity you want to be on the internet. I, again, do think it's a coincidence that, like, some aspects of that seem to be connected to you dating an emotional support feeder who, to your own words, does, like, appreciate your body for what it is, and I think that's great, but, I mean, there is the feederism of it all that I think is concerning to a lot of people. So, we're just keeping it 100 over here today on the Zachary Michael channel, okay? A person also asked, why do you think you've always been broken up with, but you've never ended things? And she said, I've been in 7 serious relationships and I've ended things with 4 of them, so question isn't valid. Which I can't remember, to be honest with you, if she said she has or hasn't ended relationships before. But really, truly, I'm skeptical of anything she has to say about any of her previous relationships, especially because it almost always comes out that, like, none of them were actually happy and a lot of them had conflicting stories with what she had, you know? It seems like maybe the common denominator in all of those things is Amberlynn, but here we are. Person asked, do you have a plan to have a new uploading schedule anytime soon? And apparently she's in the process of making one, whatever that looks like. I hope that that means not like she's sitting down just trying to think about how often she wants to post. And I hope that means that she just, like, actually has some pre-recorded content, like, ready, scheduled to go, and she's just working on getting enough so that she can get ahead again. You know what I'm saying? And she answered yet again another question about Mama Lynn blocking her. And somebody said, is it true that Mama Lynn blocked you? And she said, no, we literally just video called today. People just want a falling out with me and Mama Lynn to happen. It's really sad. Another question about Mr. Snowflake. She's just really committed to going in on old Mr. Snowflake. It says, Snowflake also frequently mentions hooking up with you and tries to play it off as a joke, like it's weird. I don't know if that's true or not. And it's also crazy that, like, Amberlynn would respond to this not knowing if it's true or not. Like, to me, it's like literally people could be saying anything in her comments. And it's funny to me because she literally was talking about how people will just believe anything Mr. Snowflake says because it's bad about her. But it's crazy how she'll just believe anything that people say about Mr. Snowflake in her comments or in her questions on Instagram and just believe it, even though she says she's never watched his videos. But her response was, what? Somebody asked, how was your trip with Tommy? The vlog you posted was so wholesome. And that's interesting because it makes it sound like the trip with Tommy is over, but I'm not entirely convinced. But anyways, Amberlynn's response was literally phenomenal. She's truly more than just my lover. She's my best friend, and getting to love her and be loved by her is something I'll forever feel lucky for. I just, like, can't imagine, you know, I just don't move like this. Like, I just can't imagine. Let's forget about the love part and the being in love part. I don't even know that I would call somebody my best friend that I've known for 3 months, let alone, like, be over here flicking my bean to how much I love this person and how they're the love of my life and whoever, whatever. But go off. live your truth, Amberlynn. I haven't even heard this next thing that this person is asking, but this person said, thoughts on people saying you're not posting because you found different income, parentheses, feeders. And she said, again, false outrage and rumors. If you followed me long enough, you know that I randomly stopped posting for a few weeks. Just part of my pattern. And like I said, that is true. But I think the part about feederism is not just all false outrage. Like, you've acknowledged, even if you believed Tommy's ridiculous reason for why she did it, you've acknowledged that Tommy has in fact made money in the past by making feeder content. So I don't think it's unreasonable for people to wonder or speculate if you're doing the same. I mean, I think if that were true, certainly Amberlynn is recognizable enough at this point that I think we would know that she was doing it. So again, that's the part where I'm like, let's use some critical thinking about the speculation. And also, to that point, I don't even know if this person that's asking necessarily believes that, or if they're just, like, commenting this to get a rise out of Amberlynn, but here we are. So, this is where the new game starts. She says, only ask me yes or no questions. I can't give an explanation either. Get creative and juicy. So, we're gonna try to speed run this, because there are so many, and I gotta be honest with you, most of them seem to be just her wanting to let y'all know that she has sex, which, like, hi, a lot of adults do. You ain't special. And sometimes, now that she's so comfortable talking about sex, I'm like, it's so cringe. I kind of wish we could go back to the world where, like, she was afraid to say the name of the mascara that was better than sex mascara or whatever. I wish we could kind of go back to that, but it seems like there's only like two extremes for Amberlynn. It's like, we can't talk about it at all, or I'm just going to talk about it so much ad nauseum with like all of the most gross details that I can. So just prepare yourself. I might not have something to say about every single one of these. Like I said, we're going to try to speed run this part, but here we go. Have you ever done the deed in the car? And she said yes. Which, like, that does... Yesterday, I had seen this already when I did my Twitch stream. And I did karaoke of Bang Bang. And while I was singing it, all I could think about was this question that she answered. There goes your heart. I know you want it. Backseat of my car. I'll let you have it. Wait a minute, let me take you there. Somebody said, embarrassing question, but would you have sexual relations more than once a day? LMAO. And she said yes. Have you ever been in any type of romantic relationship with a man? And she said yes. Not to be nosy, but are you saying Alexis is 300 pounds? And Amberlynn said no, which I guess that's because the 200 pounds more than she weighs or something comment. I guess, like, people are like, well, you must be 500 pounds, so that makes Alexis 300. Somebody said, do you think any of your exes regularly watch your vlogs? She said yes. Handcuffs, question mark? And she said yes. Would you ever have a threesome? And she said no. Have you ever done something in a relationship you really regretted? And she said yes. Of course you have. I would guess you regret most things that you've done in most of your relationships. Somebody said, have you ever done anything spicy over the phone / on FaceTime? And she said yes. And I'm like, that's a waste of a question, because she fully admitted to doing that with old Erica multiple times. So that waste of a question. Do your homework. Somebody said, have you gained over 50 pounds? And she said no. And I'm like, over 50 pounds when? Like, what's the time span there? Because, like, certainly at some point in your life you have, but maybe she's like, have I gained 50 pounds in the past week? Then the answer is no. If you could go back in time, would you still choose to have a career on YouTube? And she said yes. Have you ever thought of starting an OnlyFans? She said yes. And that's also another waste of a question, because she's actually talked about it. And I don't think she ever opened it up for people to actually pay for it, but she did, like, make an account once and share it. So there's that. Out of all the reaction channel, Zach is one of your top 3. That's not really a question, now is it? but she said yes. So I have successfully passed on her the title of worst reaction channel ever, which she has in fact called me once upon a time. I've passed that title on to old Mr. Snowflake, and I've made my way into her top 3. How lucky am I? I mean, she is so flip-floppy on who and she does and doesn't like in the reaction channel world. It's exhausting. It really is. It really is. She got asked the question, is sex better than when you love the person? And she said yes. Have you ever been in a poly relationship? And she said yes, which is interesting because I'm like, with who and when? I would like more questions because you're going to see later she says it wasn't with Faline. And if you recall, like when Faline first came on the scene, Amberlynn said that Faline was poly and that she was upset about that. So, I don't know, lots of questions to be answered. She got asked, do you go to casinos often? And she said no. And I'm like, could have fooled me. That's been like, I would say like 50% of your content since you moved to Oklahoma, but okay. Somebody asked, do you feel bad about Zachary Michael's breakup? And she said yes. I'm glad you found your sympathy bone, Amberlynn. It sure didn't seem that way when you first addressed it in an Instagram Q&A, but here we are. Was it wrong of you to call someone's addiction tea? I think that refers to when she was talking about Destiny's family members, and Amberlynn said yes. Somebody said, do you like tits more than ass? And she said no. Would you ever do an interview with a reaction channel? She said yes. I think she'd have to find one that wanted to do one with her, to be honest with you. I'm not entirely convinced any of them would want to. I certainly don't. Do you like to have your hair pulled? And she said yes. I'm telling you, so many of these are just about her talking about what she does sexually. So brace yourselves. Was the length of your trip planned? And she said yes. So that's great. Would love to know more about that. Do you and Tommy send spicy pics when you're apart? By the way, I love you. They can never make me hate you. And she said yes. Did you really get a strike from YouTube? Karina Kaboom posted about it. And she said no. I don't know where she answered this in relation to her posting on her community tab. So I don't know if she had addressed it already there, but we obviously already talked about that. Is Tommy a good lover, so to speak? I'm also just like, some of the ways that these questions are asked are just like very funny to me. But anyways, Amberlynn said yes. Would you ever be with a man? And she said no, even though she just got done answering a question saying that she's been romantically with a man before. And she's also talked about giving handies to boys in movie theaters. So like, I mean, I guess like, maybe she's saying in the future would I? No, but certainly in the past she has. Do you ever feel like a failure? She said yes. Did you receive community guideline strikes? Yes or no? And don't hide. And she said no. Do you regret dating any of your previous partners? She said no. Interesting. I would probably say I would regret being in a relationship with Erica, who was married, but here we are. Have you ever faked an O during juicy time? I have. Okay, you do not have to share so much about yourself, friend. But anyways, Amberlynn said yes. Have you watched any reaction channel in the last 3 days? And she said yes, which that's probably a surprise to nobody. Do you plan to resume your weight loss vlogs? She said yes. Thank God. Can't wait. Is there a video of yours you wish never ever touched the internet? She said yes. Are you into choking during sex? And she said yes. Not the potato. You think she's bringing in seafood boils into the bedroom and choking? She probably doesn't mean choking like that. I probably shouldn't laugh about that, but here we are. Is sexual chemistry a deal breaker for you? She said yes. Would you ever live stream or do a Q&A with Alexis? She said yes. She's already basically live streamed with Alexis because before Tommy, the emotional support feeder, came into the scene, Alexis would sit on FaceTime with her while she live streamed. So that's enough for me. I don't need any more Alexis outside of that. Would you ever call Snowflake out for flirting with girls in his Discord while being married? And she said no, which is interesting because she has been such a fan of answering questions about it. She's been a huge fan of bringing attention to it, but would she ever call him out for it? No, of course not. Would you get freaky with whipped cream in any form? And she said yes. And I mean, she's already gotten freaky with a crumble cookie. She already crumbled her whole entire cookie. Like, of course she would get freaky with some whipped cream. Please be serious. Did you delete... Oh, wait. Oh, I misread this earlier. Okay, rewind back into my video where I said that she answered a question that made it sound like she was the one that deleted it. But the question she answered was, did YouTube delete your rotisserie chicken video? And she said yes. Do you like Alex's Shook? And she said no. Do you watch Karina Kaboom? And she said no. Do you believe in once a cheater, always a cheater? And she said no. She probably needs to like say that to make herself feel better about participating in an affair with Erica. Do you consider yourself a sympathetic/empathetic person? She said yes. She has several sympathy bones. Please. Please be serious. Have you ever been cheated on? She said yes. Have any fans tried flirting with you or Tommy in an attempt to ruin your relationship? And she said yes. I don't know why she's even like giving that idea out to people. You know more people are gonna slide into Tommy's DMs now. Does Tommy talk you through it? What does that mean? I guess the it here is sex. I guess the it here is sex. Or, I don't know, the water drop emoji might mean like pissing. Is Tommy talking you through your piss sessions? Anyways, Amberlynn said yes. Were you in a poly relationship with Faline? She said no. Would you ever be down to meet Nikocado in real life? She said yes. Are you still doing the Q&A vid with Tommy? She said no. Which, like, I mean, I think at this point we all realize that, but like... Why post these things to begin with and then just never follow up on them? Is Tommy interested in making her own content? She said no. Would you try more fun recipes with Tommy in a video, like the ice cream roll-up? And she said no. She said, the only fun recipe I'll try... The only fun recipe I'll try is making my god-awful chili for Tommy, and that's it. And, okay, that's the last of the screenshots I have. Let me go check out her Instagram to just make sure it's 11:30 my time, Chicago time, and it doesn't appear that she's posted anymore. You know, I understand why she wouldn't want people to know if she's back in Oklahoma or if she's still in Wisconsin. But I feel like there were so many people trying to get her to answer, you know, like there were people asking questions about the length of her trip, this, that, the other. I feel like there were so many people trying to get her to answer, like if the trip was over or not. And I feel like, honestly, y'all, if that's what you had wanted, you should have said, are you currently having sex with Tommy Salami in Wisconsin? Because it feels like the only way she would answer any kind of question about where she's currently at is if it was related to some kind of sexual question that y'all had for her, but here we are. Anyways, I think that's it for now. I think hopefully, you know, hopefully let's just cross our fingers that the next thing I cover on my channel is not more Instagram Q&As and it's strictly just her doing a vlog and me reacting to it, because I do kind of miss that. I really do. I really do. Would love to go back to that, to be honest with you. But either way, that's all I have today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did and you're brand new to my channel, consider subscribing down below. Hit the bell button so you get a notification every single time I post a new video. Make sure to leave me a comment, hit like, click share, and follow me on all my social media. I had so much fun today. I hope you did too, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!